Welcome! In this tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you how to sew a toddler tie pillow. You can find this pattern and all my other patterns at the Atelier Joy Etsy shop linked below. This is also a great pattern for a beginner project to make with your kids. Working with fleece is pretty simple. You don't have to worry about the edges fraying, and there's only a couple of pattern pieces. So this would be a great holiday project to do with your kids. It's a pretty simple pattern. There's 2 rectangles for the body and 2 rectangles for the ties. First, we're going to sew the sides of the body together. So you want to lay one body piece right side up, and then lay the other piece right side down, matching up the notches that are on one side. Okay. Match up those notches. And then you're going to pin around all 3 sides that are not notched. So you've got this pinned on these 3 sides, right sides together. Now you stitch with a 1/2 inch seam allowance along the 3 sides that you just pinned. Okay, you've got your pillowcase stitched on 3 sides with the notch side open. Before we turn it right side out, we want to clip these corners to get rid of the extra bulkiness. So just take a little triangle off at that corner and here, going as close as you can to the stitch line without cutting into it. And then you can turn this right side out. Okay, once you've pressed your sides that are stitched, we're going to press 1 inch in on this notched side. So I like to use this ruler that gives me this blue spacer, and I'm just going to place that where I want it and then press 1 inch in all the way around. When you get to the seam allowance, you can kind of finger press that seam allowance open and then press the edge in 1 inch. Now I'm going to stitch with a 3/4 inch seam allowance around this opening that we pressed in, and I just took off that portion of my sewing machine base so that I could slide the pillowcase over the sewing machine. so you've got your body of your pillowcase sewn now. The next step is to sew the ties for your pillowcase. So you're going to take your tie piece and you want to fold it over lengthwise, right sides together. So I can tell this is my right side because Santa's face is a little more well defined. So I'm going to fold that over onto itself, and we're going to be sewing along one short side and the long side. You can leave the other short side open. So I'm just going to pin on this short side here. And this long side. And you're going to do that for both ties. Now we're going to sew the ties with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay. We're going to clip the corners here to remove the bulk. Here and here. Here and here. And then you're going to turn this right side out. Okay, and now again you want to press this flat with your iron. Okay, we're ready to attach our ties to the pillowcase. So here's your pillowcase. You open it up, you can see that you've got these 2 notches here in the middle of one of the sides on the inside. I want you to take your raw edge of one of your ties and line it up with the raw edge of this folded in fabric right between those notches. Okay, and then you're going to pin that in place. All right, and then turn it over and you're going to do the same thing for the other side. So find those notches. So I've pinned on the outside and taken out my pins that were on the inside of the fabric because I'm going to actually stitch along this same stitch line on the exterior. Again, I'm going to take this portion of my sewing machine base off so that I can slide the pillowcase over the arm. And make sure your needle is up for this. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're just going to stitch right over that same stitch line that we used to close up the edge of the pillowcase. We're going to stitch over that same stitch line to connect the tie to this. So you want to start about a 1/2 inch above where your tie connects and do some back stitching. Okay, you've got your pillowcase with ties now. All you need to do is take your toddler pillow and put it in. Thank you so much for watching. You can find this and all the other Atelier Joy patterns on our Etsy shop. You can see the link below. Please subscribe to this channel. I'll be adding tutorials on a regular basis. Happy sewing!